Hey, everybody. I hope you're all doing good. We're trying to work that timing out for the cutoff of the song, but I'm too excited because today we have TBuzz here. So TBuzz, as you all know, is one of our best instructors on both rigs, as well as she is a founding member of our safety council for safe living. If you guys haven't checked out safeliving2.com, please do so, because there's some exceptional articles there that our safety council has written. TBuzz has written several. Like, they're just incredible resources to help you be safe in your home, in your communities, in your life. And that's what safe living is all about. It's helping people live securely through safe living. And TBuzz is the biggest proponent for safe living. She, in her own business, promotes safety all of the time. So we're just honored that she's here with us and part of our team as well. And so TBuzz, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. I am happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
We are so glad you're here. And as one of our safety council members, so some of you may remember we had Pilar Cobb on at the end of last year. She's also a safety council member, and we have some more coming down the line. But every one of our safety council members brings a specialty. And so I'm going to let T do a little introduction on herself in that realm about her specialty and anything else she wants to talk about. If you've never met her in person, or maybe you haven't seen her face in some of our social, you might recognize her voice. So a lot of our safety tips, you'll hear her voice overlay on that. So T, I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm TBuzz, and I am thrilled to be here. A little bit about my background. I have almost 30 years of corporate human resource experience, which has prepared me for it all. I've probably seen a little bit of everything. During that time as a human resources manager, it was during the time of 9/11. And I was tasked with post 9/11 emergency response coordinator purpose. And so as a result of that, we had to create a shelter in place emergency response plan. And what we know now about emergency response plans is that they only work if you're practicing them. So many people put plans in place and then they never practice them. Being able to begin to look closely at what it takes to devise a plan, to implement a plan, and to practice utilizing a plan. So fast forward to me retiring and relocating. This is my post-retirement life. And I relocated to an area that was all about personal safety. And as a result of that, I decided to take a class with the Citizens Police Academy. This is kind of how my journey went along. I took the class at Citizens Police Academy and learned quickly that people here were really wanting to be able to protect themselves and be safe in doing so. So as a result of that, I left that class believing that I could make a difference in my community by helping to start programs that help other people to be safe. As a result of that, I started my own firearms instruction business called Acutely Aware Firearms Instruction, because I'm all about awareness. Awareness is that first line of safety. And that's really the trajectory of where my life has gone, from corporate America to firearms instruction and personal safety. Because really HR is about matching humans with resources. So I'm matching the same humans, just different resources.
I love that, TBuzz. Like, I love your story so much. And I really, I think the world of you, but honestly, everybody that's listening, she's really a selfless human being who really tries to put the needs of others above herself, and really does this out of that desire to help other people. And it's really very inspirational for all of us to watch. And we're glad you're on the team. I think today we'd like to talk to you and hone in on a very specific thing, a couple specific things.
Mhm.
And one of them is on safe firearm storage. So, we get a lot of people that like want to argue about storage, and it can be a controversial topic, and it really shouldn't be.
Mhm.
So, can you kind of tell us your viewpoint on safe storage of your firearm?
So I think, of course, safe storage is critical because we have a responsibility as responsible firearms owners and safe firearms owners to be responsible for wherever our firearm is. So if your firearm is on a nightstand and it gets in the hands of an unauthorized user, you're liable. And so you want to make sure that it is, if it's not on your person, that it's not in a place where it can be easily accessed by somebody who's not authorized to use it. And so I am a proponent of safe storage. Whatever that looks like for you, you want to make sure that it's secure at all times. We talk about that on the trailer. We go over the firearm safety rules with our guests. And that fifth rule that we've added is ensure that your firearm is kept out of the hands of unauthorized users. And so it's a critical piece. If you're going to be a responsible firearms owner, you want to make sure that you're always being responsible with your firearm.
Right. That's that Know the Five that we created and brought in during the end of COVID.
Mhm.
Not that it's not always been there, right? Securing your firearm and keeping out of unauthorized persons has always been a part of that, but we added it as a focus point in our conversation, particularly as so many families, right, are coming to the trailer now, new firearms owners on that journey for the first time after their first season of life, right? They may
Right.
have retired, moved to a new community, and here they are as a couple starting this journey. And it offered an opportunity for us to really put an emphasis on the firearm safety rules include that you're responsible for that firearm and to keep it out of unauthorized hands.
And equally as important is, especially where we live, almost all households have a firearm. And so if you have young children that are visiting other people, what are you training your children as to what to do if they come across a firearm? And so we go over that at the trailer as well with young people about what to do if you stumble across a firearm that your friend has or something. So it does need to be secured because you have other little hands in your home.
Yep. So, TBuzz, let's just take some of these things that we've heard at the trailer. So, what about people? Can you share the proper way to store your firearm? Because we hear a lot of things about, well, I put it in a shoebox and put it on the top closet kind of thing. So, what is the proper way to secure that firearm?
Well, ideally, the proper way would be secured in a firearm safe, whatever that looks like in your house. Sometimes people have a vault, depending on the number of firearms you have. Sometimes it's just on your nightstand, but there are devices that you can place your firearm in that only you can access them, either through biometrics or through a key system, but it's always secure and no one else can get into that safe. So that would be what we propose, making sure that you're utilizing something that keeps that firearm safe and away from others.
Right, keeping it out of those unauthorized hands. You brought up a good point. We have that family conversation, and it's always invigorating is the word that comes to mind, right? Because we ask the parents, can we have a conversation with your child? And we'll see those parents stand strong. Absolutely. My child knows what to do. They've been taught the firearm safety rules, and we're just as proud for the family as the family is for that pride in teaching that. And then we walk that walk with them. We have the conversation, and then we take them out of their home, right? And we have that conversation about when little Susie or when little Johnny goes to their best friend's house. And mom and dad aren't there at that point, and no other adult. And their friend says, do you want to see my parents' new firearm? And that child is often challenged with the right answer because they've been taught what to do at home.
That's right.
And they, for whatever reason, haven't really comprehended or had the discussion on how to transfer that out to away from home. And so we watch those parents almost melt behind the child because they know that child knows what to do, that they realize they haven't communicated that piece
That's right.
outside of the home.
That's right. Absolutely. And, it's much like what we do as adults. We have a plan for in our homes for being safe. But once you're outside of that safe environment that you know so well, what's your game plan, right? What are you planning to do? And have you thought it through once you've left your home?
Absolutely. We couldn't have asked for a better segue to the next question we have for you, because as we all know, whether it's you or I or Karen or anybody watching, that the firearm has, a purpose in our personal protection, but it's not the first go-to. It's not there
Absolutely.
as the end all be all. And it shouldn't be, because we hope we never find ourselves in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads us to layering our protection.
Sure.
So at the trailer, one of the other awesome benefits that we have is we do demos on the proper ownership and use of pepper spray. Now, don't be alarmed. They're liquid and water-based. They're not actual live sprays.
Mm-hmm.
And so our guests can participate in what it feels like to actually access and spray your spray. Mm-hmm. So T, do you want to share a little bit about layering? I can't even say that word. Layering your protection and what that looks like?
Well, absolutely. I think first and foremost, the first layer really is situational awareness. Situational awareness is that first line of defense. You've heard that term, if you see something, say something. That doesn't go quite far enough. What we need to teach people is, what are you looking for? What do you say, and to whom do you report it? Because sometimes you don't have the language. You may see something, you can't even really comprehend what you see. It doesn't make you feel, it makes you feel kind of weird, but who do I tell? What do I say? So that really needs to be that first line of defense, that, situational awareness and being aware of what's going on around you. And that's up, down, left, right. It's not just the head on the swivel, because we know from things that have happened, threats that have happened in other cities, it comes from above or can come from below. So you have to really be aware of that. Be aware of what pre-attack indicators look like. What are you looking for? What seems weird? And many times you're using all of your senses. So we say, if you see something, report it, but you may smell it first, or you may hear something. So if you hear something that sounds weird, say you're sitting in a quiet church environment, and all of a sudden you hear a lot of commotion in the back. Where you're in church, that commotion shouldn't be happening. It's time for you to put into play that what if? What if something is happening? What is my game plan? What am I going to do? So in terms of layers, yes, of course, people who carry firearms feel like that's all they need sometimes, but it may not, the threat may not rise to the level of using a firearm. So what other tools do you have? Or if you use one tool and that fails you for whatever reason, it falls or someone takes it away from you, what other layer do you have to defend yourself? And the whole point is trying to defend yourself enough to get away from the situation. We hope and pray that you never have to deploy your firearm, but if you have it and you know when to do that, and when you're defending your life, then that comes through training. So really, that bridge between willing and capable, the bridge is training, so that you can know exactly what it is you need to do. You want to act before the action. And so you have all kinds of tools out there, and we want to meet you where you are. Every tool is not for everybody. And so when we meet you face to face, we kind of ascertain what it is that you are about, what you feel you can do, and where you're trying to go. And then we work with you individually to get you there. So it may be a pepper spray. It may be a striking tool. It may be an edge tool, like a knife or something. We want you to know, what you're capable of using, what you're willing to use, and how to use it. And then we need you to practice. We need you to train and practice, because I can't tell you how many people walk around with a pepper spray in the bottom of their purse that's expired and they've never deployed it. And so on the trailer, it's a godsend to be able to get out there and get those pepper sprays, those inerts in people's hands, and have them to actually point them at a target and understand the distance. You need to know all pepper sprays aren't created equally. So you want to know if yours shoots 10 feet or 16 feet, because that determines what your protective bubble is. How close are you going to allow somebody to get to you before you deploy whatever it is that you have? So, I get all passionate about, you see me get into it, right?
I know, but So I've had the privilege of watching you do pepper spray demonstrations, and I would love for you to walk this audience through. This is very important, y'all. Very, very important. Walk them through ask, tell, make,
Right.
please.
So when we're on the trailer, what we do is we actually put that inert pepper spray into the hands of our guest. And the one thing that everybody forgets to do, because we tell them, walk them through, like, use your voice. Use your voice. Using your voice in that moment also alerts people around you as to what's happening. And so I tell my students, and I tell people on the trailer when we're training, you can't assume, first of all, that anybody's going to help you. What they're going to do is pick up their cell phones and they're going to video you and put you on social media, but they may not help. We're in a litigious society and people don't really want to get involved. So you can't count on that. You are your first responder until help arrives. And so you have to fight in the moment, right? And so we tell them, you put your hand out. The universal sign for stopping or get back is putting your hand out. That's in every language. So put your hand out and you scream to the top of your lungs, right? Stop. I tell them to say, stop, get back. And I also give them language to say, I don't know you. Because I don't know you sends a message to whoever's watching you that it's not a domestic situation. I don't know this person, right? And so they may be more inclined then to do something, at least call 911. If you can manage to get that out, call 911, give instructions. But the ask, tell, make, you ask the person, please get away from me. And if they keep advancing, you tell them, get back with more force. And then if they still advance, then you want to make them with your pepper spray. And so,
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, T. I was just kind of reminiscing about some of those verbal judo style runs, whether we're doing them at the trailer or some of the experiences that we've been able to participate with Shoot Like a Girl, and how hard it is for someone to actually use their voice. We think, oh yeah, I will scream. I'll use my voice. And either nothing comes out, like they think in their head they're screaming, or this little mousy, whispery, ooh, comes out. And it's a practice point. None of us practice it enough, right? We can actually just practice it.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, a lot of it has to do with social conditioning, right? We teach women to be demure and quiet. How many times do you walk around the house on a regular basis just screaming at the top of your lungs? We don't typically do that. So this is why we have to, we shouldn't typically do it.
Let's a screaming day.
If I take the corner of the couch, that's a whole different story.
This is why we have to practice that. We have to give women in particular permission to scream.
Yep. All right. So everybody right now, you're watching this. I want you all, we're going to take a pause second, and we want you all to scream at your computer as loud as you can. Stop, get away. I don't know you.
Okay, and we will mute ours because our poor speakers will go.
Yep. You ready? Everybody mute. All right. That wasn't loud enough, ladies. So work on that.
Mine was pretty loud. I won't be surprised if that door opens.
Oh gosh.
I forgot my husband was home.
Yeah, probably not a great idea. But honestly, you really do have to practice that. When you first make that initial conversation, you're going to know, like when you tell somebody, hey, stop, you're making me uncomfortable, right? You're asking them to get away. You're making me uncomfortable. They're going to be like, oh, sorry, ma'am, I didn't mean to, or they're going to show a different side. And so this TBuzz does this. I stole it from her. I got to tell you, I love this training methodology for getting women to use their voice. And ladies, if you screamed at your computer, type your name and say, I screamed, or I can scream. I will scream. I will scream.
I love that.
I will scream. And we will, from all of those of you who say, I will scream, we will select a winner and we will send you a coveted Safe Living hat. Let's do that, because this is really important. You see the passion TBuzz has. We can all see that passion that you have. And we're just so thankful that you're on the team with the rest of our safety council. We are fortunate. I'm not going to get teary-eyed, y'all, but we are so fortunate with the team that we have and how strong everyone is and how each person brings such a unique perspective. It's funny how so many women can be almost exactly alike, but so individually different at the same time. We're just really lucky for our team. So
I want to add real quick, Karen,
Well-
before we close out
Yep.
today. I want to remind everybody that at the trailer, at the Shoot Like a Girl and the Safe Living trailer, we're there and we're planting that seed, right? We're trying to inform you enough that you find that interest. And my phone is ringing. Decline. Sorry. And that you take that interest and you do the next thing that you need to do. And that is find training in your area, right? There's different types of training. There's different focal points, from just basic situational awareness to an actual OC or pepper spray class, or to a firearms course. It doesn't matter, but that you then take the next steps to get the full training that we can't give you at the trailer because time doesn't allow.
Absolutely. 100%.
You're muted, Karen.
I was screaming. It's important that y'all find a community as well of people that are in that same journey as you, because, it's just like everything. It's kind of easier with a friend or someone else. So don't feel afraid to take your friends with you and get training. So today we covered two really important topics, very different, but very similar. First is, if you own a firearm, it is your responsibility to store it. Zero room for error there. Your responsibility. It is a great right to own a firearm. And with rights come responsibility. And that responsibility lies on the individual that owns that firearm. So make sure you've stored your firearm so unauthorized users cannot access and use your firearm. Then we learned about layers of defense. And TBuzz really talked to you about many layers. We focused a lot on pepper spray, but she mentioned a lot of other tools that are out there. And TBuzz, I'll let you kind of go through those tools again, just as we recap, because there's several different tools that you can learn how to use that can help you in many situations. So I think the most important thing she said is that there's a tool for you and what your needs are. And so don't think that you have to take one tool or another tool. You can build up and you can layer your defense so that you have tools that are right for you to help protect yourself if you ever find yourself in a situation that you couldn't avoid in the first place. And that goes back to her opening statement, situationally aware, because if you can avoid a situation, that is always the best plan. So with that, TBuzz, you want to go over those things and then I'll kick it back to Krista.
Absolutely. So with regard to the many options that you have, some of the ones that we talked about, pepper spray, striking tools, edge tools such as a knife, stun devices are also available to you. And then don't negate the fact that there's also improvised weapons or environmental weapons. If you don't have something with you, say you're at a place where you can't carry whatever it is that you have, I want you to begin to, the charge is begin to look at, when you're at work or you're wherever you are, look at what's around you that you could use as a weapon if you needed to. Weapon is a broad word that means a whole lot of different things. It doesn't mean just a firearm.
That's excellent.
Yeah, when I worked on Capitol Hill, there was a lot of things I couldn't have, but I had a stapler. A government stapler is a good tool, right? So you want to be able to look around the spaces that you're in, wherever you are, and say, if I had to use something and I don't have something on me, what is available to me? A fire extinguisher, a laptop, a lamp, a book.
Right. I just showed my water bottle that could really knock somebody out.
Right. So begin to think about that. What do you have? Even if you're staging protection around your home, which is another conversation, there are things you may just have one tool that you count on, that you leave on your nightstand. But if you're in the basement washing clothes, what do you have there if someone were to infiltrate your space? So just begin to take a wider approach to your personal safety and what are the tools that are available to you, and train on using them. So
I heard you say charge, and that to me, we're issuing a challenge, right? A call to action to everybody that's watching. whatever space you're in, whether it's your bedroom at home, your office at work, you're in the grocery store, you're driving the car, you're walking in the neighborhood.
That's right.
Look around, be aware of what other things in your immediate environment could be used as a personal protection tool, right? And start thinking about that, because really all good training starts with a good mindset and being aware of your surroundings. So there's another call to action, right? Karen put in there earlier that you would comment that you screamed or you will scream for a hat. We're adding one to that. Share with us the things that are not normal that you might have in your bathroom that you would use if you needed to defend yourself there.
And what's great about putting them in the comments, you may give somebody else an idea. So we're going to end up with this list that people can think outside of the box, like, oh, I never thought about that. So we're putting together a list that's going to help to save a lot of people potentially.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. TBuzz, I have to show you something.
Yes.
So my grandmother was a Department of Army civilian, a Department of Defense civilian. This is her stapler from World War II.
That's it.
And I have this like desk stapler. Hopefully she didn't steal it. Don't come after the government, but it's mine now. But it still works. And I use it every day. And every time I use it, I think of my grandmother, because she was a civil servant as well. And
use it as a tool.
And I can use it as a tool.
So now it has a dual purpose. A dual purpose now. Very true. Yes.
Well, so we, y'all, the trailer, Safe Living trailer will be in Gonzales. No, Shoot Like a Girl trailer.
Yeah.
Will be in Gonzales on 9-10 March.
Indiana. Yep.
And then Safe Living will be in Fort Mills, South Carolina on 23 and 24 March. And man, time is flying by. So check out our schedule, find an event near you, and come see us. Come see TBuzz at the trailer. You will learn a lot. You will have an experience that many people say changes their life. When we say changing lives one shot at a time, we are serious. We are trying to do our best with the help of all of our corporate sponsors who let us give this gift to you for free. Like, you are never charged for anything we do. We want to be a resource for you and for you to be able to come and learn, have some fun, find some new hobbies, maybe. I don't know. But with that, Krista, TBuzz, you guys got anything else?
Nope. We look forward to seeing you guys all at the trailer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. This has been great.
I have a feeling we'll be back on with you. You mentioned something earlier in our conversation. I thought, oh, we could have another one of these Facebook Lives later in the year on that. So be prepared. She might be back.
Be happy to do it.
I think it's Tea with TBuzz. She does that in her community already. We can just do that every week. People would love it. Like, I just listen to your voice.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Y'all
Bye.
Love to walk, I learn how to live off the land. Folks taught me to hunt.